how quickly things can change in just 1 week. It's amazing. These are historic times. In this episode, we're going to talk about COVID-19 and our thoughts and experiences this past week. But we promise you we're going to do our best to leave you with words of comfort, encouragement, support, and inspiration. So let's do this.
I'm Sienna.
And I'm Toast.
We've been partners in life, love, and music since 2001. And we believe life is best lived as a love story. Your love story.
After all, to love well is to live well. For more, check out siennaandtoast.com. But for now, here's this episode. Okay, here we are. Woo! These are historic times. I
don't even have my headphones on.
Well, come on.
Just raring to go.
We are doing this. Okay.
So despite, I'm sure, like we've experienced, almost every email in your inbox probably has COVID-19 in the subject line. People are sharing their protocols. Businesses are sharing their protocols, assuring all of us that they take it seriously. Good. They want to keep you safe. They want to keep their employees safe. And also, you've probably received emails from your healthcare practitioners. And if you haven't, maybe it's time to change your healthcare practitioner. But we had debated whether we were going to do an episode on COVID-19. And we decided, yes. That we can't just be doing all kinds of things and we're all inundated with all this information varying on the spectrum. We're around all different kinds of energies that have different people having different reactions. That might include, that doesn't just include what you see on the news or social media, but our family and our friends. People that you hear from, maybe on a daily or weekly basis. But we have to address it because it's real.
Yeah, and I find a sense of support and encouragement, even from just hearing other people tell their stories.
I'm sorry, I might be slurping a little because my coffee is extra hot.
Nice. Well, it's been cold these past couple of days, so
today,
the hot coffee is good.
Yes. And just to let you all know, today, and by the way, today, we're actually recording this on March 15th, which is the Sunday before this episode is to be released. Yeah. But this morning, it was colder than I have ever felt since being here. When I checked AccuWeather, it was 34 degrees there, but the real feel 19 degrees.
Which is really cold for us.
Yes.
Having been born and raised in Hawaii. I know those of you cold out there in Wisconsin are like, you guys are wimps. And yes, we are compared. But yeah, for us being in the Pacific Northwest here in Oregon, only for a couple of years now. So it's still new to us.
And it was whipping wind. I think that's why the real feel, right?
I think so. Wind chill factor or something like that.
It was cold, man. Yeah. Anyways.
That's why the hot coffee.
Yep.
What was I saying? I was saying that we even had a podcast episode, I think it was about a year ago, about just the power of just sharing your story. And you're not even there giving a sermon about, so be encouraged and, it's going to be okay. And I support you. You don't even have to say any of that. You can just share your story and share your experience and what it felt like and what you feel, what you feel you went through and how it changed you, etc. And simply doing that can be a source of comfort and support for the listener. So we've always kind of taken that mentality, I guess, in recording the podcast. Even when we talk about, just silly, lighthearted, funny stuff, because we are putting this podcast out there as members of the LGBTQ plus community. Asian American lesbian couple since 2001. And
I like that. LGBTQ plus.
Very inclusive. Yeah, but just, we believe that just being out and being who we are.
Being visible.
Yeah, and just talking story, as they say in Hawaii. Just even talking about quote unquote nonsense things. The fact that we are out, we believe, is a form of support for other people in the LGBTQ plus community. It has been helpful for me. I know, just as my individual story of like knowing there are other LGBTQ plus people out there. So in this episode, we just wanted to share our thoughts and experiences with everything that's going on as a form of support, because we know you guys are going through same or similar things. Why
don't you share the
my geeky thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think, we're reading we're reading so much of the same information from various sources, but I don't think this one was probably earlier in the,
this one is for the geeks.
Yeah.
But still, wash your hands, practice good hygiene, and do all the things that you keep hearing about. Social distancing, keep doing that. But this is not that. Okay, so I, in my geeky curiosity, had to find out what is even like COVID-19? What does that even stand for? Like, what is that? And, Mr. Google helped me out.
Or Ms.
Google.
Or Mrs.
I found out it stands for coronavirus disease. So that's where the D comes from. And 19 is in reference to the year 2019. So coronavirus disease 2019, which is when it was discovered or when it transferred to human beings.
But why corona?
Because, so the coronavirus, as you probably know, is a class of these viruses. And corona means crown. And the way that this virus looks like under a microscope has echoes of, it kind of looks like a crown. Like how a crown has things sticking up from it?
Like pokies.
Yeah, so those things.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on from that. Because...
Please, let's move on from that.
Yeah.
Okay, so things really changed quickly.
No kidding,
with,
right?
The general response to the virus.
Yeah, I mean, like last week's episode, we were like, oh, yeah, whatever. You're talking about flower petals and, and this week it's like, whoa.
Well, we batch recorded those, right? So that was even further along.
Yeah. True.
But still, last week we were keeping ourselves aware.
Mm-hmm. Right. Staying informed.
And in general, we tend to be mindful of our sanitation habits.
Right, of course.
I have that spray that I bring with me, and it's homemade. And, when Toast and I go to the movie theater, I am spraying down those arms. That's just natural for us. Whenever we go anywhere, step into a store, when we're back in the car, what's the first thing I do?
Sienna whips out her little glass bottle of alcohol spray and she holds it up, and that's my cue to put my palms out, and she sprays my palms.
I mean, we naturally do that. We do. So in a way, and we naturally, I think this might be a Hawaii thing. Like we overbuy food.
Maybe.
So we're always kind of stocked, like we have, our pantry, and maybe most people are. So as the virus news, as we're keeping up with that, we just pretty much felt okay.
Yeah.
in general, as far as our preparedness.
Yeah. Kind of keeping our antennas up.
Right.
You know, being like alert for changes.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I was going through some changes at work that were pretty intense. And so I was preoccupied emotionally with that. And on this past Wednesday, Toast went to do errands.
Like I
Like
usually
a regular
do
day.
on Wednesday. And I purposefully went earlier in the day. I went during the 8 a.m. hour because I wanted to avoid crowds.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like keeping my eyes out to see if anything was unusual or felt weird, you know. Like,
Yeah.
Nothing. It just felt really normal.
And you pretty much got everything on the list.
Got everything
There was
on the
nothing that
list.
was not there.
But you know what I did notice, and I was very
What?
happy about this. I did notice that around the store there were a lot of hand sanitizer stations.
Oh, yeah, that's
where you
right.
could just
Yes.
help yourself to, you know, hand sanitizer. And I took advantage of that, and that was
Yeah.
great. But that was Wednesday.
Yep.
Came home, you know, 2 days later,
Yeah.
right? On
Yeah.
Friday was when the governor of the state that we live in, Oregon, ordered that all public schools would be closed for the remainder of the month. And later that day, Friday, in the 1 p.m. hour, we decided, you know what, I'm going to go back out there and I'm going to,
Stock up a little more.
buy more so that we can stay at home.
Not have to be in crowds.
And it was a completely different story. I went to
Yeah.
the same store. And granted, it was later in the day, but, and there were more people there, as one would expect later in the day, in the middle of the day.
But it wasn't like what you have experienced when it's the holidays and you are going to go grocery shopping.
No, it wasn't crazy.
So it wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't packed with people.
Right. Because Toast and I, we lived in California for a very long time. So we have friends. We've been in touch with our friends there. And California has had a totally different experience. So the
Our
crowd...
friends in Southern California. area,
Yes.
Yeah.
The crowd that you saw, quote unquote crowd, was still not like even the holiday crowd.
No.
Yeah.
The people that were there were just strolling along with their carts like normal. But what was very eerie was seeing the frozen food section
Yeah.
bare and walking up and going down the aisle looking for the canned beans.
Yeah.
Bare. Toilet paper, paper towels, none left.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I'm sure those of you listening to this, you probably had similar experiences of like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah.
So that was definitely unnerving. I did go
Wednesday to a Friday.
That's
Yeah.
right. And I did end up going that Friday to 4 different grocery stores in search of toilet paper.
Right.
None.
Yeah.
None. So,
However-
yeah, that was pretty unnerving.
And, you know, people will stock up. That's what we thought. Like, okay.
And we were
places
seeing
are going to stock up.
Yeah, we were seeing jokes about it even, right, on
Yeah.
social media and stuff like that. And now in retrospect, I'm thinking, well, I guess if people all of a sudden are going to be working from home and now their kids are going to be home from school, and those are 2 brand new things that they don't usually have to account for at their house, right? They're going to use toilet paper at their work, or their kids are going to use toilet paper at the school. So they're buying extra for that too.
Yes.
So, okay, that explains it.
But we were able to find toilet paper at Office Depot.
So we have toilet
So thank
paper.
goodness.
Yes. And I was also glad to hear, I think Sienna, actually, you told me that in the news, people are saying that, okay, no, they're going to be additional shipments of toilet paper. So we would just hang on, right?
Yes,
Like
because now
it'll-
there's a new demand.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
people will get it.
And the fact that I think they said 90% of the toilet paper is made in the U.S.
See, all of these things that we learn, who knew that? 90, so much paper, so much of the toilet paper is made in the United States. And that's that kind of awareness of our interconnectedness of, oh, you mean toilet paper doesn't just come from the shelf in the grocery store? No, it comes from some place. I think that's part of the awakening that we are having too, is our interconnectedness and how we are part of this natural world.
Plus, I think we're so used to just getting what we want and need immediately.
Yes.
Like just immediately.
That's how everything
Instantly.
is sold to us.
Right.
Oh, look, it's so convenient.
But it's also
so
technology,
instant and fast.
right?
And
Technology is so instant and
That's what I
fast
mean.
and gratifying. And it's
Right.
like,
And that's the
Now that
selling
we're
point.
facing
Like,
this-
get this new phone. Look how much faster it is.
right.
Right. Anyway, wow. Okay. That was like going off on my grumpy grandpa rant. Where was I?
I think you're going to talk about flattening the curve.
Oh, yeah. As we were preparing for this episode, Sienna and I just kind of just jotted down all the things that came to us. And one of the things that came to me was how remarkable it is that in the space of what? Should I finish my thought and then you can share with the rest of the class what's so funny?
Never mind. Yeah, go. Yeah, finish it.
Okay.
Finish it.
Well, just how amazing it is that within a few days, everyone who's paying attention and not living under a rock knows what things mean when, like, flattening the curve. Like, that phrase I didn't know what that meant even just 2 weeks ago, maybe even a week ago. You know, flattening the curve and social distancing and vector. Like, those things had little to no meaning to me about 10 days ago, and now it's like, whoa, that's what's dictating the decisions we make on the daily right now, and that's just pretty amazing to me. Okay, yes, Sienna, would you like to share with the rest of the class?
No, I just thought grumpy grandpa moment was hilarious.
Okay, well,
That's
glad you
all.
like that. All right,
You can have your own segment, Toast.
Okay. And continuing with my grumpy grandpa segment, another thing that I jotted down was how I get irritated. I'm getting irritated when I'm seeing people on social media. Well, I'm talking about Twitter when I say social media.
Okay.
Twitter are criticizing, quote unquote, the government, the federal government of the United States for the massive F up that, again, if you haven't been living under a rock, you know what I'm talking about. By the way, and I'll come back to why that irritates me. By the way, this is the first time that I have seen like this mono subject on Twitter. Everything was this coronavirus thing, and it was amazing. I'd never seen that before. But okay, so why I have gotten irritated when people are using the phrase "the government" is that I think they should be using a more specific phrase. They should use the phrase "this administration" because it's not the government. It's this administration's use of the government. I think that whenever you criticize the government and you choose to use those words, what you're doing is you're weakening faith, and you're weakening the value that we as citizens should place in the government. Government is good. Government is us. It's of the people, by the people, for the people. That's us. This is our thing. And when positions in government are filled by irresponsible, incompetent, etc., bad, blah, 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 people, that's when things go wrong. But it's not the government. It's the administration that holds power within the government. That's what is being criticized. And I would hope that people would choose to use that more specific language so as not to weaken faith in our system of government.
I don't think
Says
that was
Grumpy Grandpa.
I don't think that was Grumpy Grandpa.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad.
That was
The young'uns are listening and learning.
That was a different person.
Okay.
So I have noticed, though, that you have been checking, like, you're very connected to your Twitter more than ever.
Yes. Yes.
Like, you're constantly on Twitter.
I have been, and
Constantly. I hear it emanating from the bathroom.
it's probably not a good thing. You're right. You're right. I confess that in my moments of self-reflection, I do recognize that my anxiety in this moment in time, has manifested by reflexive, compulsive checking of the news, of Twitter, of seeing what people are saying, of what's the latest thing. And so with that awareness, I have been trying and telling myself to cut it out. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Like for the past, it had become a habit to, as soon as I wake up, I would check. And for the past, was it just today? Or was it yesterday too? I had to make myself not.
I think you didn't do it yesterday, and I think you didn't do it today.
Like, can I just get up out of bed and go and take care of my personal hygiene without checking Twitter or checking the news?
I don't know.
I didn't think I could do it, but apparently I can, because look, I survived. I'm here.
2 days you survived.
So I need to keep doing that. No, seriously, for like mental health, right? Like I do.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, and I have felt in my own.
And you have a spouse. Hi, we're here.
Right.
You have a fur child. Here's Bear.
Yeah. Yeah. No, in my own interior world, like in my own mental life, I feel like I have noticed a weakened ability to just focus.
Yeah.
And focus on something else besides just checking and rechecking and refreshing and scrolling, and so that's why
you do feel elsewhere.
Yeah, so that's where I was like, okay, no, I gotta break that pattern.
And I have felt like a calm, and then I start to feel the panic coming on. Slowly, like I feel it, just escalate a little, a little. Then I'm like, we don't have enough toilet paper. We don't have enough canned goods. Like I feel that way.
Are you, is it because you start to imagine like how the future might be?
Right. I start to overthink things, and we don't know what's going to happen.
And that's right. Exactly.
And that's very stressful on the system. So you want to be prepared, but you don't want to panic. So can you prepare without panicking? Yes, you can. But I think the panic, there has to be, I think, moments of panic that drop in a bit from time to time, because when you're preparing, something about calculating, okay, we're good for 3 weeks.
And then what?
Right. So then if you start preparing for 3 more weeks, so that now you're good for 6 weeks, even that, just calculating that number and amount of goods is panic worthy. Because to think, oh my God, that if I'm prepared to be in my house for 6 weeks, that's like a lot.
Yeah. It's a whole, okay. So what we're talking about is self-isolating and social distancing in order to flatten the curve.
Yes.
In order to protect society as a whole, in order to protect other people, right? So that you don't become a vector.
Right. Because I think people, mean, maybe people understand this, but I think in general, people are social distancing to not get it.
I think that's the knee-jerk, response.
But you can be healthy.
Or think you're healthy.
And you could have a dormant virus.
Right, you can be a carrier.
And you could be giving it to someone.
That's right.
Who has to go out for a reason, like get their food. You could give it to an elderly person who has to go out and get their groceries.
Do not do that. So, if at all possible.
So anyways, I'm just saying that I've had moments of panic. Definitely not long stretches, but if I overthink it and start imagining things, then I can, kind of work myself up. So I just have to. So what I've been doing is if I can't. So for instance, I have a lot of family and who kind of maybe lean on the panicky side.
Okay. You mean they're inclined towards that kind of anxiety?
Yes. And so if I'm not in a space where I feel like I can hold my own grounded, efficient, and calm energy, I just won't read it in that moment. And then when I feel like, okay, you know what? I feel good. I feel grounded. Let's look at this and read it from a space of, grounded, calm, knowing versus panic and reaction, Then I can read it and type back a response that
doesn't escalate.
Yes, I don't want to just be going back and forth in an energy that is just not efficient right now.
Right. It doesn't help.
And you don't want to be reactionary.
Yeah. And I can see the concern that a lot of the experienced health experts, public health experts have about informing the public because panic breeds panic.
Right.
So, yeah, you want to inform the public, but you also want to keep the public calm.
Right.
Because otherwise we're going to eat each other alive,
We have to be calm because also too, like panic does not do one good thing for our immune systems. Not one good thing.
Right.
Unless you are running from that actual bear, it does not one good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why we just want to encourage you. Stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Stay home. Stay informed.
Stay informed. Stay calm. And I think now's a really good time to maybe redefine how you connect with your social circle.
Totally.
With your friends and family. Mm-hmm. If you're normally going out weekly, maybe do a fun weekly FaceTime. Mm-hmm. Or even twice a week. Mm-hmm. If you're not counting the drive to get there, you could do a little bit more frequently. You could do even just, make it a regular habit to check in with your friends by text.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing?
Right.
What's going on? And also, some people don't think FaceTime is so convenient.
Okay. Because
the person has to be available in that moment.
What a pain in the butt.
But we have used Marco Polo, which is an app. It's like a video texting app. And that's also a wonderful way too, to stay in touch, be able to see people. And so having that social distancing doesn't mean to just, hermitize yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Find other ways to connect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty poignant and just so powerful to see how people, for example, in Italy, right? There are those videos going around of how even though that term social distancing. It's actually physical distancing. I've heard that point made. It's physical distancing, but in terms of being social, no, we need to help each other and keep the morale up, show our concern, express our support. And I think that's a huge part of us as a society getting through this, right? And growing stronger.
Yeah.
Growing stronger.
And I think it might be good, like we all have different kinds of friends and family in our lives.
Right.
But if you tend to be this person, now's the time to continue more than ever being this person to help raise people up. You know, if you text them, hey, how are you? And they are in a panic mode, again, don't contribute to it. There are ways to let them know that, hey, you understand, we're all going through this, and to help raise them up. Now we need more people like that, you know, doing that with each other.
Yeah.
One of the things, were you going to say something?
I was just going to remark on how this time has really called us up to put into practice more our spiritual practices.
Oh, totally.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been feeling that. It does feel like pressure in a way. I didn't want to say it because it doesn't sound like politically correct. It doesn't sound very spiritual to say like, oh, I feel pressure to, to rise up. But
it's like we're all being forced into this retreat.
I guess.
In a way, right?
Yeah, I guess
because
so.
we're all forced to be in the, I mean, not forced, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah. It's recommended. We are, we're all responding in different ways, but it takes all of us doing what we can to not only flatten the curve, but just to help us remember our interdependence, come back to what's the most important, which is the connection. I think that having this social distancing and finding other ways to connect is one thing, but when this whole thing is over, and even while we are going through this, we are certainly going to greet our freedom and social connectivity and going out to crowded places and restaurants and concerts and things like that. We are going to greet that with a new level of gratitude for sure.
And hopefully humility. That's the other thing that
things can change. It can be there and then not be there.
Yeah. And that humans are not, you're not the master of the universe here.
Right.
It's like this little virus can take you out. Sorry to sound
but
so,
yeah. Okay.
What? Okay. Weren't you going to say
that's
something?
True, but I don't,
Yeah, we don't have to keep going down that road. But
exactly.
I think you know what I mean.
It's like being aware of this virus, being aware of the precautions, staying calm as much as possible, being informed, being prepared.
But I'm talking about, and I think you knew this, like I'm talking about just a more visceral experience or more visceral knowing and living with the knowing of our interdependence. Yeah. It's like people are freaking about freaking toilet paper.
Yeah.
The truth is you don't need toilet paper to even survive, right? It's not like food, but people are freaking out about it. And so just... And the whole thing with the debate about universal healthcare and having even people who can't afford healthcare. Should they have it? Yes, they should have it because it's not just about individual, separate people. It's about us as a society. So
and even sick
that's
time,
what I'm talking
right?
about
and
with humility. It's like, you know what? We're all interdependent.
And having like sick time. Like now employers are giving sick time, right? When we should have that.
Right. Exactly.
And not have to choose and
yeah, anyway, okay.
But I do think that that this is helping us to become better humans, even though
this is our opportunity.
Yes. And we're coming back to what really matters at the end of the day. This is what is helping us do that.
That's right.
So there is that silver lining. And I think that we can use this, what's going on, to make better choices. And one of the, even simple things, like you talk about the toilet paper. And yes, we don't need that to survive. But boy, do we take it for granted. Think like the comforts we're used to, right?
That's right.
To even think of like they have like the scratchy kind at work, right? Or like in those public restrooms, the scratchy, like the
non-pillowy kind.
Yeah, like it feels like tissue paper. And so, and then yet there's 2-ply, whatever, right? Whatever with all of that. And yeah, we don't need that. But when you think of just the stuff we take for granted, like I know through all of this, I am like, okay, well, we should conserve a bit more, not be so like,
not take it for granted.
Respect.
Just
consume so much of it. It's like when I go, and this might be too much information, but
let's end with
going
this
to use
information.
bathroom, like even if it's just going shishi,
which is number 1 for all of you non-Hawaii people.
I'm like, like grabbing that toilet paper.
And the roll is going.
But now I'm like, I'm counting I am.
We're counting squares
and
now.
And it's not mainly because, we might not have it. It's just like, do I need to have that, do I need to have reams of it for one shishi? I don't. So why am I do I have to use that much? I don't have to use that much. I really don't.
Right.
Like I realized I can do 5 squares. So I'm going to try and do 5 squares for shishi. And that makes me feel good because I don't want to use...
Not to brag, but I've been challenging myself to use 4 squares.
I cannot use 4 squares. I'm sorry.
And you have to wipe with much more care and attention.
You do.
When you use less,
because you
like
also
that.
don't want to sacrifice your hygiene.
And you wash your hands more these days. And then, see, this is getting really like TMI. But when you go number 2,
I'm leaving it as is.
Then it feels so luxurious with the toilet paper.
Right. It does. Yeah. It does. But it just helps, it makes you think, and you should. This whole thing is time to think about things, right?
Exactly.
And how you've been and have, what your practices are and how conscious you've been in what you've been doing. Mm-hmm. And I will be happy to continue just something as simple as this and how much soap all the stuff that we just... it's so much waste, just using so much, using so many things.
Yeah, and I think that bears on the deepest message and opportunity that we as a human species have as this wake-up call. Yeah. It's our profound reliance and interdependence on the earth and everything, all of our fellow creatures. Yeah. From microbes on up. It's our integration and living in harmony with nature. And hopefully more of us learn that lesson and take it to heart more deeply. Mm-hmm. I think we all know it in our head, and this opportunity is a chance for us to really internalize it more and go about our lives with a deeper, richer sense of interconnectivity and this sense of broader family. And for me, it sounds so cheesy, but for me, that is what love is. It's about going through life, having an awareness and a relationship with the rest of life. So until next time,
this is Sienna.
And this is Toast, reminding you to live your love story.